What's up, everybody? It's your host, Jaden for Illini Daily. And then first things first, guys, please subscribe to the channel. I would appreciate it. Also, we're on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, so check us out on those. Also, I would like to apologize. You guys were right. I was too negative on the basketball video about the point guard situation. You're right. It's not that big of a deal. We have a lot of good players, so you guys are right. I was overreacting, so I apologize. I will try to be better from now on. But as a really deep and conscious fan, I am sorry because I just really like our team and I really think of too many of the ins and outs and all the good and the bad. So I apologize. I over exaggerated and you guys are right. So I'm sorry. First things first, today it's the NFL draft and I just want to have fun with you guys. Today we're going to be talking about where our boys are going to which NFL teams, which I feel like are going to be the best picks for them and which are going to be most suitable for them. So first things first, let's go with QB1. I forgot to put his position, so I apologize. But obviously, Luke Altmaier is QB. The teams I feel like he'll fit in is the LA Rams, the San Francisco 49ers, Minnesota Vikings, New Orleans Saints, and Baltimore Ravens. I feel like he would be a great fit for all these teams. Sean McVay has been known for creating really good QBs. He revived Baker's career. He's done a great job with obviously helping Matthew Stafford win his first Super Bowl. He helped Jared Goff become, this suitable, great QB that he is right now, regardless of him coming to Detroit. He's done a great job of creating great QBs, and I feel like if Luke Altmaier is a great backup for Matthew Stafford, that's a great place to start. He will be the future, and I feel like that would be just a great place for him to go. San Francisco 49ers, Kyle Shanahan is also another great QB maker. He helped support Sam Darnold become the guy he is. He's done a great job with Brock Purdy, and even though he's had, ins and outs, but he's created great offenses, and I feel like Luke Altmaier would be a great backup for Brock Purdy. They haven't had a great standard of backups for the 49ers, so I feel like he'd be a great backup for him, and he could possibly, in the future, in the long future, possibly start over Brock Purdy. Maybe. This is just a great hot take. I'm not saying he will because Brock Purdy is amazing right now and one of the most underrated QBs in the league. So, next things next, Minnesota. Minnesota is right now is having a QB issue, but they just signed Kyler Murray. So I feel like being a backup right now could be a great place. Maybe he can outplay J.J. McCarthy, even though J.J. McCarthy was a top pick. And, the same draft as Caleb, Bo Nix, Jaden Daniels, and all those guys. I feel like Luke Altmaier can take his place right now and really just learn from Kevin O'Donnell and do a great job of making his way into the best position for himself for being on the Minnesota Vikings. New Orleans Saints, right now it's Tyler Shugg. So right now they kind of need a quality backup. Tyler Shugg's a little older. He's an older rookie. He was 24, 25 heading into the league. So having Luke come on the team being 23, you get another college veteran who knows his way around the game, who doesn't make a lot of mistakes. This could be a great back and forth for Tyler Shugg and Luke to learn from one another. After Tyler Shugg just playing 1 year, Luke can learn a lot from him and maybe move on to a different team. So this would be also a great place for him. Baltimore Ravens, now with a new coaching staff, I feel like they're going to need a backup for Lamar. Right now they're having a lot of issues arguing whether or not if he's going to stay on the team. I know he's going to play this year, but they still haven't, repaid him or given a new contract. So I don't really know what's the future for Baltimore. So Luke can possibly make his way down. Same thing happened with Joe Flacco becoming the guy. So maybe Luke can possibly become the guy there. I really doubt they let Lamar walk because, Lamar is Lamar. He's one of the greatest QBs of all time, if not one of the greatest QBs right now. So just an idea to think about. I feel like he would be a great fit for all these teams. Luke doesn't make a lot of mistakes, and he's already run a pro-style offense, having a multiple offense with us. So having a multiple style offense can really make you versatile and really make you fit in anywhere. Next thing's next. Gabe Yakis. I feel like this is another player who would be really good for a lot of teams. Right now, I think he would be the highest pick out of all our guys. But right now, I just want to talk about where I possibly see him going. I can see him going to Pittsburgh. I can see him going to Green Bay. I can see him going to Detroit. I can see him going to Atlanta. I can also see him go to Kansas City. Pittsburgh right now, Mike McCarthy, but he knows, I feel like Mike McCarthy is going to know that he's an older defense. They want to bring back, that age, that grit, that possible new highlight player, because Alex Highsmith and TJ Watt, even though they're dynamic and amazing, right now they haven't had the healthiest years of both of them. So I feel like Gabe Yackis could be a rotational piece that can really make a name for himself, if not start eventually. Because, like I said, TJ and Alex Highsmith, they're both getting older. They're going to need a rotational piece that can really make a name for himself right away. And I feel like Gabe Yackis can really do that for them. The next team, Green Bay. Right now, they don't really have a lot of rushers other than Micah Parsons and Luke Van Ness. They're going to need another rotational piece, if not a big name to really make a name for himself like Gabe Yackis. Because right now, Luke Van Ness hasn't really lived up to being a first-round pick, in my opinion. I'm not trying to put him down because, he's from the area that I used to grow up in. So knowing that is going to be a real shot to a lot of people. I'm not trying to put him down. He's a really good player, but he's not living up to, Micah Parsons. So they're going to need another edge rusher that can match Micah's ability and, if not, play as good as him. So they're going to need another edge rusher. Next thing's next. Detroit needs a true edge rusher other than Alex Hutchinson. He's right now by himself. He's basically the only true rusher on their team. They don't really have a great rushing path. They don't have a lot of great rushers. So they're going to need another edge rusher that can really make a name for himself, if not become a star right away. And I feel like Gabe Yackis can do that. Atlanta, they just lost one of their guys because I don't want to say why. There's some rumors and bad stuff. So I'm not going to get into that. But they're going to need another edge rusher. They need another consistent edge rusher. So that's going to be another pick for them. And the Chiefs, right now, George Galifianakis and Chris Jones are the really ones only making a name for themselves. They lost one of their edge rushers or DNs more specifically into free agency. So they're going to need another edge to really be already NFL basically ready. And Andy Reid likes those type of guys for his defense. He knows his defensive coordinator can manipulate and create really great rushes, and if not, create great players. So I feel like he's going to trust in him. So knowing that, Gabe Yackis is a great pick for them. Next player, J.C. Davis. Guys, I love this dude. I feel like he'd be a great place for Chicago. I would love him in Chicago. But the other teams, Baltimore, Tennessee, Cleveland, and Philadelphia, I'll say Chicago last because obviously I'm also a Chicago Bears fan, so I'll do them last. Baltimore, they need another offensive tackle. With a new offensive coordinator, they're going to need an established offense right away. And learning from Ben Johnson, the new coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens, is definitely going to need a new setup. And Declan Doyle, he was great for the Bears for scouting and everything, but now he's going to run his own offense. So knowing that, he's going to really need, offensive tackles that he can trust on. And I feel like J.C. Davis, who could be a steal for the draft, he's going to be in the 4th through 7th round. I feel like he's going to be a steal for anybody, and I would really think he would be good for any team. Tennessee, you got Cam Ward at the QB. They're going to need an offensive line, so J.C. Davis can really step forward and possibly start. Cleveland, same thing with Shador. Rookie or younger QBs in their second year usually wants an established line, and Shador did not have that last year, so he's definitely going to need that. And for Philadelphia, Nick Sirianni, he was really frustrated with the offense last year, and I feel like their biggest problem was offensive line more than Jalen Hurts making mistakes. They didn't have that amazing dominant line that they usually have. So bringing J.C. Davis back in that rotation to support them can really make a difference for their team, and I feel like he'll make a great headway. But Chicago, Ben Johnson, I'm talking to you, bro. I would really appreciate you get J.C. Davis. He's already from the pipeline, coming from Illinois, and being a guy who's 6'6", great build, really athletic, possibly our own Trent Williams. I know that was my take. I know it was a little over-exaggerated, but J.C. Davis is really good. He established himself in the pass game and the run game, and he's always working hard and trying to be better. So, Ben Johnson, please get my boy. I'm just I would really appreciate it. Next thing's next. Last guy, Hank Beatty. I feel like Hank Beatty is a very underappreciated receiver. I feel like he's going to be in the 6th round, if not undrafted. I feel like Hank Beatty does a great job of just making himself open. He's a great route runner. He catches everything. He doesn't do a lot of drops. He's a really good punt and kick returner. So I feel like Hank Beatty is going to be a steal for any of these teams. Even if he is an undrafted free agent, I feel like any of these guys would pick him up. LA Rams. Rams are known for making great receivers. You know, they had Puka, who was a late round pick, and even though Devontae Adams didn't come from there, Devontae Adams has established himself to be a great receiver throughout his whole career, and he was a later pick, so they know what to do with later picks anyway. Tutu Atwell, even though he's not there anymore, it was a later pick, and he became a decent wide receiver coming from LA, and with an established amazing offense from Sean McVay, this would be really good. New England, you know, Mike Vrabel knows how to get, you know, blue-collar, you know, low-key guys. Hank Beatty can definitely fit in that offense. Even though it's Josh McDaniels. Josh McDaniels does a great job of having no-name wide receivers become great stars. So Hank Beatty, even though I don't think he's a no-name receiver, he's established as a no-name receiver in this draft. He can become really, really big and really established as, you know, a low-key great guy. So I feel like Hank Beatty would be great for New England. I feel like they know how to use their receivers, and he knows how to fit in. The Chiefs, Andy Reid. Andy Reid is also another guy who's really good at making receivers better than what they are. Xavier Worthy, Rashee Rice. You know, all these guys, even though they were higher picks than Hank Beatty probably will be, they're not as dominant or established guys as people think. I feel like they were just underrated guys that Andy Reid found out and made them better than what they are. And they have been that. Even though they're coming off a bad year, they're still going to need another wide receiver, and I feel like Hank Beatty does that. And people forget Hank Beatty is a really good blocker, so also putting that with a new run offense with Kenneth Walker is going to be really new and really fresh. Buffalo is another team that needs more wide receivers. You know, Hank Beatty can be a depth guy that can really help them. And like I said, they had a problem with drops last year, so Hank Beatty doesn't really drop the ball, so that would really help. Detroit is another team that, you know, makes wide receivers who were basically not really picked up on and become really, really good. Tesla for them was really great last year. I know he was a higher pick than I'm predicting for Beatty, but Beatty can be just a similar type of build, if not a better wide receiver, and he can really help any team. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. You know, I wanted to have more fun with you guys because, you know, I've been panicking over, you know, basketball. And yesterday, you know, we had some nice recruits come in and I talked about that. So hope you guys had fun with this episode. I hope you guys, like, say your comments down below if you guys think our guys are going to be picked up all right away during the draft. Or if not, say the teams you guys would like to see our guys at. I feel like today was more like a fun episode. And I hope you guys appreciate it because I appreciate y'all. And yet again, please subscribe to the channel and subscribe to the Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And I will see you guys next time.